Hello, Internet. Hello, YouTube. I am back. It is me again, Jordan, aka Def Costs, with another One Piece volume review, volume 2 this time. Uh, so this is actually the first volume that I've ever read of One Piece. God, this glare. Wow, I need a better setup. But anyway, yeah, so like I explained before, I bought the first volume of, I mean the second volume of One Piece before I bought the first one. I bought the second and third before I bought the first one, but so this is the first one I ever read. Um I hadn't read the first one, and I didn't know anything about One Piece when I read this volume for the first time. And so this this was actually the first picture I ever saw, the cover of One Piece. I didn't know who the characters were. I didn't know anything about it. Wow. Um, and like I didn't understand why Luffy was like stretching his face. Like I thought he was just doing that, but I didn't get that he had like rubber powers. I just didn't. I thought it was just the art style or whatever. But so anyway, I started reading it, and it was fun. Like I enjoyed it. I would say that I didn't really like it as much as I like it now, but I did enjoy what I was reading enough to want to keep up with it. Um, so yeah, so anyway, let's go on with what I wanted to talk about in this volume. So yeah, so it's funny because I noticed I should have talked about this in the last volume because it actually happens at the very like the one like either the second to last page or the very last page of the first book. But Nami is actually the first character when Luffy meets Nami. Nami asks him to team up with her. That's like her first reaction, And Luffy's just like, "Oh, who are you? Whatever, that's cool." But she's like, "Oh, wow, you're pretty strong. Like, you could serve me well and whatnot." So she was actually saying, "Hey, you want to team up with me?" Which I had forgotten. Um, so then they go on to meet Buggy, and well, yeah, it's interesting. This is actually the first time that a power in One Piece is hinted at, as opposed to directly revealed or revealed immediately, I guess. Um, because a lot of time in One Piece, when a character reveals their or like shows their powers for the first time, it's unclear what their power actually is specifically. And this was the first time that happened. Actually, we see Buggy kind of choke, like force choke the guy almost. It looks like Darth Vader style, but then of course we all know it turns out he has the chop chop fruit. Um, yeah, so that's Buggy's reveal right there. I always thought that was an awesome drawing of Buggy sitting in the chair like that. Um, so yeah, so it's cool. You meet Buggy, and he has like the crazy cannonballs, which was a concept that I you know I had actually forgotten about. Like that's why I'm rereading because I've forgotten a lot of One Piece, but yeah, like the Buggy balls. Like it would be cool if he kind of still had those. Like they did a lot of damage. Um, And honestly, like in this in this book, like I don't understand exactly what Buggy's motivation is to like destroy the village. Like I guess he's testing out the buggy balls, but then he never uses them again. So it's kind of weird. Like he's just destroying this village, like just cause. Like he really doesn't have a good reason. Um, and I mean, I guess that's what makes him the villain. But at the same time, it's like it would be interesting if he had like a legit reason. Like I mean, I guess, like I said, he's testing out the buggy balls, but that's the last time you see the buggy balls. So it would have been cool if he had kept up with that. Maybe Oda will bring him back. Who knows? Um, yeah. So we got Nami conversing with Luffy. Oh yeah, yeah. And here Luffy talks about so Luffy talks about how his hat is like his most important treasure and like how he values his hat more than everything else. And we all know that, of course. But um, it's interesting because Nami points out. She says, "Why do you like that? Like, what's so precious about your hat? Like, it's just a hat." And and obviously it has like sentimental value to Luffy, but it doesn't have any like actual value, like monetary value. But it might because Nami refers to the hat. She says, "Oh, is there like a treasure map in your hat? Like, what's up with that? You know?" And he's like, "What? No, there's no treasure map in my hat." But then I remember I was actually checking out the Marineford arc recently, and I think there's a part where when Luffy loses his hat and Shanks picks it up and he gives it to Buggy to give back to Luffy, in order to like make Buggy do it, he says, "Oh, I have a treasure map, and I'll give it to you if you just do me this favor." And then after he gives the hat to Luffy or something, I forget, but he's like, I think he gives the hat to Luffy, and then he's like, "Oh, and then Shanks is like, "Oh yeah, I actually I don't have a map, sorry." Um, but it's interesting that he talked about the map when he was dealing with the hat. So I'm thinking, wait, is the hat a map of some kind? Like it might be. I mean, there's clearly some kind of importance to it. I mean, I guess it's not simply just like like a hand-me-down object or whatever. I mean, there's got to be some kind of meaning to it. I think. Um, so yeah, maybe I don't know. But so we got Nami conversing with Luffy. That they go to see Buggy. Nami kind of turns on Luffy. Buggy gets all pissed off, whatnot. What happens here? I don't even remember why I put it posted here. I don't know. I don't know. I think I wanted to talk about Luffy being like a hardhead. How like whenever he makes up his mind, he just like he can't even hear what anybody else is saying. And like and now Nami kept saying, yeah, like I'm not really interested in your crew, whatever. And he's like, oh yeah, you're part of my crew. You're part of my crew. And she's like, okay, whatever, dude. um, what else? Oh yeah, yeah. I thought this was kind of interesting. Nami. So when you think about it, a member of the Straw Hats that's a drinker, that's like a heavy drinker. You think about Zoro, like that's like his gimmick, like or one of his gimmicks. He's like a heavy drinker or whatever, or like he likes to drink. But I forgot that Nami like in this book she downs like a whole pint of whatever they're drinking in like 2 seconds. The other guy passes out and she's like, "Hey, I'm all right." And I think at this point she's like 19 or something. So yeah, so she apparently is a drinker too. Um, so yeah, so they're the whole Orange Town thing. Luffy's in the cage, um, trying to escape. Uh, Nami says she'll join Buggy's crew, but then of course she has to kill Luffy in order to do that. But she doesn't want to do that, obviously. And then Luffy's like, "Hey, we're pirates, remember?" Um, and then okay, so what else happens? Well, yeah, Zoro comes back, um, fights Buggy, gets injured, which is important because that brings up one of my favorite Zoro moments ever. So he gets injured by Buggy pretty early on. Um, oh yeah, when he picks up the cage, that's pretty badass too. I remember thinking that was tight as hell back in the day. Picking up the cage, he's bleeding and stuff. He's like, I don't even care, man. He's like, don't even try and tell me not to do what I'm about to do. That was such a fucking badass dude. Um, what else? Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I want to talk about Richie and Moji because Oda likes to incorporate like um he likes to incorporate animals in his arcs. Like every arc, there's some random animal that plays a pretty big part and tends to be for like comedic effect or whatever. Like you got Richie, you got um more recently in Dressrosa there was the bull. In Skypiea there was the big snake thing. Um, so yeah, I don't know. He likes to do that, but I really remember thinking Richie was really awesome. I mean, the first time he's introduced, he's kind of like he's not really comedic or whatever. But later in the story, he becomes more of like a comedy character. And I remember thinking of all the animals in Oda's brought into One Piece. Richie is probably one of my favorites, if not my favorite. Um, oh yeah, and the dog is pretty awesome too, Choo Choo. Um, yeah, we got Buttle. Um, oh yeah, I thought it was pretty funny that Moji, the lion tamer dude, the animal whisperer or whatever, how that's actually his hair. That's like shaped like ears or whatever. Um, I guess that's why I put that posted there. Um, what else? So yeah, Orison is pretty awesome. I mean, I actually enjoyed rereading this more than I enjoyed reading it the first time because I guess I have an idea of what happens next. So I realized that they're setting stuff up. And at the time when I was reading it for the first time, I was just kind of reading it and not really understanding what I was looking at. Like I was like, okay, it's supposed to be about pirates, but we got like a rubber guy and we got a clown and we got a samurai. I was like, damn, like this is kind of crazy, which it is, but anyway, I guess you got to kind of get used to it. Oh yeah, I thought this was pretty cool. The Luffy does the gum gum gavel on Richie the lion, and I don't know if he's ever done gum gum gavel before after that. I think that might be the only time. I mean, it's very possible that I'm forgetting, but I don't remember him doing this move on anybody else. He does like the gum gum hammer, I think it's called, or gum gum something on Krieg, and then he does that again, I think, in the Fishman Island arc, I think. But this is kind of like the same thing, but with his arms. Um, yeah, he beats the shit out of Moji. What else happens? Um, yeah, Buggy keeps blowing up the town for absolutely no reason. Um, oh yeah, yeah. We got Zoro's first real fight. Zoro versus what's his name? Kabaji. Zoro's first like one-on-one like fight in the series. Um, I thought that was pretty tight. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. And the first time he does the balloon. That's the first time he does Gum Gum balloon. That's pretty cool. Um, yeah, yeah. I remember looking at this art and being like, "Wow, this is dope." Um, oh yeah, this is pretty awesome. So the fight with Kabaji and Zoro, how Kabaji keeps like beating the shit out of Zoro right in his wound, just like non-stop in his wound, like kicks him twice in it, and Zoro's like, "Ah, shit, this hurts." um, but then Zoro goes full fucking Zoro and does arguably the most badass thing I've ever seen in my life, where he fucking slices himself. So this is actually what the Katakuri incident reminded me of recently, where Katakuri stabs himself in the side to like level the playing field while he's fighting Luffy. But this was not even to level the playing field. This was to like be like, I'm actually that much stronger than you. Like I could eat your kicks. I could get wounded, eat your kicks in my wound, and then wound myself even more, and I will still fucking own you. Like how fucking dope is that, dude? Oh man, I love fucking One Piece. Um, so yeah, obviously he beats with the first onigiri. Oh, but before that, this pretty awesome drawing here when when Luffy, Buggy tries to help Kabaji with his hand, and then Luffy's like, nope, nope, ain't gonna happen, bruh. um, yeah, first onigiri. When was the last time Zoro did onigiri? Like in the current manga? Because I feel like it was a while ago. I feel like it was also in Fishman Island. Um, I don't think he's done onigiri fucking ever. That's like his signature move, isn't it? Um, oh yeah, and then Buggy references Shanks, and he's like, "Oh yeah, that hat. Yeah, yeah, that's Shanks' hat." Or at least he says it reminds him of Shanks. Um, and that's volume two. That's all of volume two. Did I do that quicker? Yeah, I did do that quicker. I guess I had less to talk about for some reason. Um, but yeah, no, I mean, I enjoyed this book. Like I said, I actually enjoyed it more reading it, yesterday than I did when I was 14 when I read it for the first time. Um, so yeah, so anyway, that was good. I like that. So we're gonna keep going, keep reading, keep making these videos, and keep showing you what I'm reading, and talking about it. Uh, I don't know. That's what I'm doing. So, thanks a lot if you managed to watch this video. I will be doing the review of the new chapter. I can't wait for that. That's going to be in a couple days, hopefully. Looking forward to that. Snake Man, Luffy's new move. Um, so yeah, that's going to be fun. So join me then, and let's fanboy over One Piece together, I guess, if you want. All right, thanks. Bye.